Migration figures are out. Ali's here. What can you tell me?
So, Kay, net migration has gone down, but it's a slightly more complicated picture than that. The latest figure, this is for the year to June, is 728,000. Now, that does sound like a really high figure, but they have revised up the previous peak, which we thought was about 760 last year, to 906,000, so nearly a million. This is a number for net migration, so this is a number of people who come into the country minus the number of people who
This is legal migration?
The country. It is primarily legal migration, but it is also people seeking asylum, people who might have come on irregular routes like crossing the Channel in
so
small
it's the total
boats.
numbers.
But, you know, the big bulk of the number is people who come here to work and to study. So I've just been trying to get my head around these figures because they are not quite what we expected. There had been an expectation that they could be around 500,000, they could have fallen quite significantly. But what we have seen is the peak being raised up to a really very high number, over 900,000 last year. And now they've gone down. The estimate is now 728,000 for the year ending June. The expectation was it was going to fall because we would see the impact of, for example, the policy around workers, dependents coming to the country for care work, and students too, perhaps not students because of the time of year, that we would see some of those policies brought in by the Conservatives kept under Labour. There's also some policy around salary thresholds starting to have an impact. We also know that people coming on humanitarian routes from places like Ukraine and Hong Kong have started to come down a lot. So that was part of the reason why we could see the numbers falling. You know, the ONS predict that in the next 3 or so years, we could see the net migration number come down to around 300,000. So the Labour government have pledged to bring net migration down. I think they are likely to see over the next 5 years those numbers coming down. They've learnt to be less specific. You'll remember the Conservatives, Theresa May and David Cameron, talking about the tens of thousands. We're obviously a long, long way off there. I mean, it is a very high figure, which 728,000, but the previous peak has been revised up. We're saying, you know, these numbers could yet be revised again, but it does look, according to these figures, like net migration has come down, but still at an incredibly high level.
Not in the tens of thousands that Lord Cameron promised.
We will be hearing more about that from perhaps the likes of Nigel Farage over the course of the day.